Why is budgeting important? The short answer is to ensure you have more money coming in than going out. Why do you need that? Because that is the only way to build wealth. It's as simple as that, at least in principle. Hi guys, it's Jonas here, and today we'll answer the question, why is budgeting important? As I said in the intro, a budget is important because it ensures you have more money coming in than going out, and that is the only way to build wealth. However, despite this simple concept, making a budget for the first time can seem intimidating, and sticking to a budget can be pretty tricky as well. That's why today I'm going to share 3 reasons to build your budget as we answer the question, why is budgeting important? The 3 reasons are, first, every dollar you receive without assigning it a mission will get spent anyway. Second, it is easier than ever to spend well beyond zero. And third, budgeting teaches personal finance better than any teacher. The underlying issue of spending a dollar without giving it a mission is like a person that lives without a mission or values which guide them on what's important in life. Let's illustrate this point with an example. Martin is a 34-year-old who lives with his parents and doesn't hold any particular set of values. He goes to work as a cashier at a local electronics shop and comes home every day to play video games in his parents' basement. On the weekends, he hangs out with his friends who are all in the same boat and have been since high school. Most people wouldn't be particularly impressed with where he is in his life, but the chances are pretty good that deep down, he is the least impressed with this outcome. But how did he end up in his parents' basement after all these years? One of the reasons is that he started living this pattern when he got this job as a cashier and simply never made a plan to change. Now let's take Martin into a parallel reality. One where he decided to teach his customers to better use the electronics they bought as he rang them up. Because he actively used his knowledge and experience in gaming to bring others more enjoyment from their purchases, he was asked to work in the gaming department instead. Because he was so knowledgeable and actively shared his experience with his coworkers, he built a reputation in the space and was promoted to assistant manager of the store. With this experience in management, he decided to apply for his employer's future talent program. His story continues with each plan and action leading to the next, far from the mundane story we first considered. The point is that it required only minor changes in his trajectory 15 years ago to bring about drastic changes in Martin's outcomes today. The same story plays out in your finances. If today you make $2,000 a month and you don't have a budget on purpose, you will most likely spend $2,000 a month or even more, but we'll get to that later. Without a budget, if we look 15 years down the road, you will have the same net worth as you did 15 years earlier, a low number or even negative. However, just like Martin and his parallel reality, had you made a budget and used the deeper understanding of where you are, you would have a net worth of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars or more. The second reason budgeting is important is that it's easier than ever before to spend beyond zero. While student debt is a big part of how young people take on debt today, car loans, credit cards, personal loans, payday lenders, and excessive mortgages are other areas where it has become easier than ever before to spend beyond zero. To make matters worse, many lenders are coming closer to the consumer's point of purchase, with payment plans being offered on everything from cars, phones, and furniture to just about anything you might buy online. This means not only are you more likely to use credit to make a purchase, but you are more likely to be sold or upsold on a product in the first place when the payments are pushed into the future. One hidden danger of using credit rather than money you actually have for purchases is that you are more likely to accept a payment plan after getting a raise. In terms of building wealth, getting a raise is perhaps the most effective time to increase your saving and investing. We can control this somewhat ourselves, but we have less control over how lenders react to our newfound income. We all know that banks are in the business of lending money in return for interest. However, they're also in the business of deciding which loans are most likely to be repaid. So, people who least need a loan, those with higher incomes, are offered the most credit. As your income increases, you will be offered even more credit at even lower rates as you go on spending well beyond zero. The third reason budgeting is important is that budgeting teaches personal finance better than any teacher. And this is coming from a wealth coach. There are 2 reasons this is true. First, because you are literally the subject. And second, because it builds the confidence that comes from experience. As a student, living paycheck to paycheck, working part-time over the summers, I had nothing to show for it financially. When I first took the idea of building a personal budget seriously, there was a moment when I realized that I could save over $100 a month. That blew my mind. At that point, I wasn't yet aware of the different ways I could invest those savings. But just the idea that I could have a surplus that grew every single month was transformative in a way that theoretical courses in investment management or derivatives didn't, and I believe couldn't teach. Like many young people, for me, the first big reason to save was to purchase a home. By using a budget on a monthly basis at first and later revising it only when there was a change in my income or expenses, I learned a few things about my budget in particular, which built my financial confidence. The big one was rent. As a young father, I looked at options of where to live and bring up my kids, and no matter how I counted, the numbers didn't lie. Living in a subsidized student apartment and putting off an upgrade as long as possible was the easiest and most effective way of saving up money for my down payment. The one big thing in your situation may be different, or you might find 3 things if you take a careful look. However, for me, only sitting down and making a budget let me understand what really mattered in terms of saving and investing for my future. Another confidence building aspect of using a budget was the realization that despite living in Finland, far away from my family, I could fly myself and my small family to see my parents and relatives in America by budgeting for it. By setting aside $100, $200 a month for this purpose, from the moment we returned from our previous trip, we would be financially ready to go next time as well. What is your special thing that requires a budget? Is it seeing a new city or exploring a new forest? Perhaps it's purchasing a beautiful piece of art or furniture. Whatever it is, you can bring those goals within reach sooner by making a budget. You are also more likely to stick to your budget if you plan something special for yourself or those you love beforehand. So those are the 3 reasons why budgeting is important. First, every dollar you own without a mission will still get spent anyway. Second, it is easier than ever to go on spending well beyond zero. And third, budgeting teaches personal finance better than any teacher. So those are the 3 reasons why budgeting is important. Have you made a budget before? What did you learn in the process? If you haven't made a budget before, will you give it a try? Share your thoughts in the comments. My next video will cover a simple way to make a budget using a free tool called the Google Sheets Monthly Budget Template. So make sure to subscribe if you haven't yet and hit the bell icon to be notified when that's available. If someone comes to mind who would benefit from this channel, please share. Thank you so much for watching and see you next time.